It is A to Z here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Final segment of the show brought to you by our good friends at Coffee AM as we turn our attention to the Atlanta Hawks and all they have going on. There are a lot of moving pieces right now in the NBA, the biggest of which is what looks like Kevin Durant on the move to somewhere, and we don't even know at this point in time. Our good friend Chris Kirschner of The Athletic put the Hawks depth chart up right now as it stands. Trae Young at the point, Dejounte Murray at the shooting guard, DeAndre Hunter at small forward, John Collins at the power forward, and Clint Capella at center. Your second team, your backups, you move Murray over to point guard. Bogey comes in at shooting guard. Justin Holiday at small forward. Jalen Johnson at power forward. And Onyeka Okongwu is the backup center. So, and you notice A.J. Griffin is not part of that yet, and he's not going to be. And I would temper your expectations for what you think A.J. Griffin is going to be able to offer as a rookie. We don't really know yet. We have a lot of time to figure that out, but you know, there is a certain amount of we have to sort of figure this out first, and what everybody else is. And plus, you know, how much A.J. Griffin will play may depend on whether John Collins is here or not and what that looks like going forward. So I am curious to see if the Hawks now have pivoted and are willing to keep John Collins in a Hawks uniform. And I do hope that's true. I really do. Like, I genuinely hope that is true, and that there is a certain amount of him and Trae sticking together may be best for the long term with this team. Rudy Gobert is now gone. That trade is done. He's not coming here. And the Hawks may have waited too long to execute a trade that they wanted to, or based off of what they've already given up, say we don't have anything else to package and we're not going to get enough in return for Collins that we don't want to move him at this point in time. And I think all that's fair. But I just don't think it makes sense for you know, the Hawks to still push for John Collins to be traded. At the end of the day, like, what is so bad about John Collins? What are you telling me is the flaw in John Collins? Oh, he doesn't show up in playoff games. Dear Lord, can we stop? The Hawks have been a playoff team for 2 years. Stop. Okay? Like, that's the equivalent of us writing the narrative that, well, Lamar Jackson kind of sucks in the playoffs. He's choked a lot. I mean, he's been in the playoffs twice. I don't. What do you want me to tell you, right? Like, this is not a big enough sample size to say that he's not a good playoff player. And this year, I wouldn't even count because the guy was injured. So I don't know. You know, if you're looking for big moments, I know they hit you in the face, but you know, sometimes you don't have to look for big moments to know the quality of a player. And the aforementioned Dansby Swanson. I don't recall a lot of huge Dansby moments. I recall some really good ones. I don't recall a lot of huge ones. But for some reason, again, it's like, well, we haven't talked about shipping him out of town, so why would we? We've talked about John Collins being out here for a while now, and I'm kind of used to it, and I've kind of sold myself on the idea that it's going to happen. So yeah, let's just get rid of John Collins because he's not that good. Like, you talk yourself into the idea that he's not that good, and I think he is. I think he's worth keeping. I think that he is not the problem with the Hawks. He's the defender that the Hawks definitely need. He's a wing player that they definitely need. He's a shooter. He's a scorer. He's a 20-10 guy. What more do you need to know? I don't want to argue about his contract and what he's worth and everything else because there are some outlandish NBA contracts out there and always have been. So I'm not even sweating that. What I am saying here is that I think he's more part of the solution than the problem. And look, if Kevin Durant ends up in Philadelphia, you're screwed regardless, right? Because you're not winning the East. You just if he stays in the Eastern Conference and pairs with Philadelphia, if that's the rumor that's out there, and how it goes, you know, yeah. Welcome to second place. Between Boston, Philadelphia, and Milwaukee, you know, you're at best, at very, very, very best, and you still might not be better than Miami, even though I lost PJ Tucker. At best, you're the fifth seed, maybe the fourth. So be done with that. I do tell you there is one player that has intrigued me that in the round robin of the Kevin Durant trade has ended up with the Atlanta Hawks, and I think it's very intriguing, and I kind of like it. But first, a word from our friends at Coffee AM. Folks, just had my cup of Coffee AM this morning. This is a locally Atlanta-based coffee company, small batch roaster, and it's just phenomenal. I'm a big coffee drinker. I need my cup of coffee in the morning, and Coffee AM is absolutely fantastic. The best small batch coffee roaster in America. Freshest coffee you can get, folks. Most of their coffees are roasted and shipped the same day or close to it. A high level of quality. They only roast current crop and specialty grade coffee. A huge selection. Coffees all over the world, man. Like I got coffees from Sumatra, from Kenya, like places you'd never think. These things were fantastic. And they're organic, fair trade, direct trade, expertly crafted blends, espressos, flavored coffees as well, gourmet teas and more. And again, roasted right here in your backyard in Atlanta. Go to coffeeam.com/locked on today. Take a full look at their menu of coffees, teas, and gift sets. That's coffeeam.com/locked on. Use the coupon code locked on to get 15% off at checkout on your first order of coffee, teas, and gift sets. Coffee AM, the best small batch coffee roaster in America. Okay. A name that I think is going to be very worthwhile if there's a possibility of him coming to Atlanta. And, the idea that people don't want this player here is weird to me because he addresses and fixes a specific problem that the Hawks absolutely need. And that's Ben Simmons. The answer, the question is this: does Ben Simmons make you markedly better on defense? What is the answer? It's yes. I know the contract numbers and everything else, and he's on a rookie max, and Trey's on a rookie max, and cannot even work. Forget that for a second. Because the bigger picture question is, what is going to make you better in the East? What is going to catapult you forward in the East? And the number one thing that's going to catapult you forward is defense. I've heard people say, well, I don't really like his scoring, and he's not a great shooter. And I'm sorry. At what point did the Hawks need more scoring? They were a top 5 offense in the NBA. They were the second best three-point shooting team in the NBA. Where do we need more offense? You don't. I don't care about Ben Simmons' offense. I want him on the court for 18, 20 minutes a game to play defense. Oh, you're paying him too much just to play defense. Not my problem. Look, does he make you markedly better on the defensive end? The answer is yes. Whatever you get from offense is a plus. There are dozens of players who are offensively better than Clint Capella. Did he make you better defensively? Yes. That's why he's here. Period. If you'd like to increase your position in the Eastern Conference, if you'd like to be better in the Eastern Conference, while your defense doesn't have to be Boston and Miami level good like they were this year, 2 of the top 4 teams in the NBA, yeah, you'd like to get it around Milwaukee good. You'd like to get it around Philadelphia good. I think they were 7th this year when it was all said and done. You'd like to crack the top 15. Get me out of 26th. What would be the reason to not want, the antics and this, that, and the other? Folks, you know what? The other reason to bring Ben Simmons here? Nate McMillan. Nate McMillan. Has he had a coach like Nate McMillan yet? I don't think so. I mean, Nate McMillan elevated Trey. He made Trey a better player all around and got Trey to operate at a different level. Why? Because he liked it. But this is a guy that has been a 2-time NBA all-defensive first team. End of sentence. Full stop. Good enough for me. Good enough for me. Whatever you get offensively, fine. I am not worried about that. What I get from him defensively is enough for me to look at this team and go, yeah, I think he makes you that much better. That much better. And in fairness, again, Ben Simmons has not really had a level of coaching era, that he needed to have. That's really part of it. That really is a big, big part of it. And if Nate McMillan can do anything to make Ben Simmons more comfortable, to make him a more complete player, I believe he can, then I think it's absolutely worth it for him to be here. All right, that does it for us today here on A to Z on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Back tomorrow. You guys have a great day. Don't take a crap from anybody. See ya.